5-6, and I've done 5-5, and it's not as applicable maybe as what I'd like, but I'll try to talk about 5-6 as well. And I think 5-5 is just kind of a little more background in terms of determining what these are. So the 5-5, we're just choosing whether things are empirical, classical, or subjective probability, and so we've got an A, B, C, and D. And the first one, A, is a baseball player gets a hit in 30 out of 100 times at bat. His probability is 30%, right, that he would get another hit, he or she. So in this case, do we know the total number of observations? Yeah, there's 100. And the number of times the event occurs is 30, so that's empirical then, bottom of page 136. B is a 7-member committee of students is formed to study environmental issues. What's the likelihood that any one of the 7 might be chosen as leader? And so in this case, we know the total number of possible outcomes is 7, and the number of favorable outcomes is 1. Okay, and so we don't have observations, right? We don't have a number of times that it occurs, and so this one's a classical. Now the next one maybe gets a little bit more difficult, but you have to think about it in the same way that we just went through on B, right? Okay, you purchase one of 5 million tickets sold for Lotto Canada. What's the likelihood you will win the $1 million jackpot? Well, what if you changed that with B and you just said, a 5 million member committee of students is formed to study environmental issues. Only one will be chosen. Okay, same thing, and so it once again is a classical, a measure of probability. Then lastly, the probability of an earthquake in Northern California in the next 10 years above 5.0 on the Richter scale is 0.80. Think about this like the first one, A, right? We're expressing it the same way, but also it doesn't really tell you this, but it has to be based on data, that we accumulated over time, right? So we had observations, we had the number of times then that there was call it favorable or unfavorable, an outcome anyhow, that we were able to observe, and so that's why we would call that one empirical. When you guys get to 5-6, something to think about is this. Okay, it says a firm will promote 2 employees out of a group of 6 men and 3 women. List all the possible outcomes. Don't think of it as man 1, man 2, man 3, man 4, man 5, man 6, or woman 1, 2, and 3. Think of it as just man, woman. Okay, make it a little bit simpler. So think of it, what's the possibility that you'll have? I mean, what are the possible outcomes, right? You could have, for example, man, man. Okay, so I'll stop there, but that just gives you an idea. The possible outcomes are not. It's not 6 possible men and 3 possible women. Just to think of it as a man-woman thing. I'm sorry, got a little bit waylaid there. Okay, and then B, what probability concept would be used to assign the probabilities to the outcomes? You should be able to figure that out based on what we just went over.